I call it the healthy triad of childhood. No, you don't need constant reassurance. What you actually instead need is healthy boundaries, individuation, and differentiation. By the way, I came up with the healthy triad literally just now, right on the spot. I just wanted like a fancy thing of using words to. Anyway, yeah, so the healthy triad of childhood: healthy boundaries, individuation, and differentiation. If you did not get these three things, there's a really good chance that you're going to grow up as an adult that believes you're unworthy, believes you're not good enough, believes you're a piece of shit, believes this, that, and the other. Your parents probably invalidated the flying fuck out of you. Yeah, it's a whole fucked up dynamic, right? So you learned to externalize, right? I've been talking about extrinsic self worth and intrinsic self worth. You've learned that your self worth is out there, which is exactly why you seek constant reassurance in your relationships, right? Let me make it very clear right now that there's nothing normal or healthy about needing constant reassurance. There's nothing. It's fucked up and bass backwards completely, right? Which is fascinating too, because I feel like it's been so normalized or naturalized to believe that you need to give your partner constant reassurance, or that your partner needs to give you constant reassurance. It doesn't matter if it's a partner or friend, whatever the hell it is, right? This is deeply rooted insecurity at its core, right? And those that got healthy boundaries, individuation, and differentiation in childhood don't seek this because they don't need to. You don't need constant reassurance if you are a secure individual. And the only way that you can be a secure individual is really one of two ways. Either you got that in a healthy or healthier childhood, or you fucking gave it to yourself later on in life when you learned about your trauma and you actually did the work to fucking heal yourself. That's the reality of it, right? But a need for constant reassurance shows that you did not get healthy boundaries, you did not individuate, and you did not differentiate. You did not learn to validate yourself. You did not learn to create intrinsic self worth for yourself by parents that were actually secure and taught you how to do so, right? So, this need for constant reassurance is actually an unhealthy dynamic. And it means that you don't really know yourself to the fullest degree. Because if you did, then you'd actually realize that your worth was intrinsic, right? So now this is the same thing across the board, whether you're in a romantic relationship or whether it's just a friend, right? Do you actually need constant reassurance? Or do you just need to know yourself better? I'm very interested in this dynamic of people that were raised in psychosomatic families with dysfunctional dynamics, enmeshment, codependency. These people don't really know themselves that well. And this is not to go into, personality disordered individuals that have, fractured or fragmented senses of selves and they don't really know who the fuck they are. If you grew up in an enmeshed environment, if you grew up codependent, you still lack a solid sense of self. You do. That's just the reality of it, right? Why do you think that you are codependent on other people? Why do you think that you need constant reassurance from other people? Your identity is like fucking enmeshed with theirs. That's the reality of it. That's why you seek constant reassurance. Oh, am I good enough? Oh, am I good enough? Oh, am I good enough? Yeah, that's the reality of it. So it's fascinating because like I've literally seen dynamics where people are in relationships with other people, and there's like, as the subject of this video is, there is a need for constant reassurance. You don't need constant reassurance. You need to know who the fuck you are and be solid and secure in that. Needing constant reassurance is like basically holding up a fucking poster at a protest and being like, I don't know who the fuck I am. So therefore, I'm relying on constant reassurance from all of you people to tell me who the fuck I am and to tell me that I'm good enough and to tell me that I'm worthy. I'm genuinely not making fun of anybody here when I say this stuff. I'm not. I'm just looking at it for what it is. I'm looking at it for what it is. Anybody that needs constant reassurance does not have a solid, static, and secure sense of self, identity. That's just the reality of it, right? There are no ifs, ands, or buts to that. What do you need reassurance for? If you are in a relationship with somebody, whether platonic or romantic, and you need constant reassurance, what do you need reassurance for? What are they reassuring you, right? If you feel that you do need reassurance from them, then the relationship is probably unstable, and both of your identities are probably non static and insecure. And they lack fucking structure. What do you need reassurance for? Really, actually, what is it that you need reassurance for? Are they reassuring who you are as a person? Are they reassuring this, that, and the other? Maybe that they're not going to leave. Why are you with somebody that you're afraid is going to leave you? That reeks of insecurity. That reeks of instability. That reeks of lack of static sense of self and or identity, right? Being in a relationship with somebody, whether platonic or romantic, and again, it works both ways. It doesn't matter if it's just a friend or it's a romantic partner. Being in a relationship with somebody where there is a need for constant reassurance is a massive fucking red flag. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are redder of flags. I don't even know if that's the right way of saying it or if that's a word. Anyway, yes, there are more red flags, but it's a red flag. What do you need constant reassurance for? What do you even need reassurance for in and of itself? A lot of people don't know what it's like to be in a secure relationship, whether with a friend or with a romantic partner. They don't because they've never had it. Because they grew up with insecure parents that lack a static sense of self. Because they, like everyone else, have trauma and they never did anything about it. So they've just continued to live an unstable fucking life with an unstable identity. Now, don't get me wrong. There are people that have far more unstable identities than others, right? But a constant need for reassurance is a red flag that you probably lack somewhat of a solid and secure identity, and that's just the reality of it, right? So, yes, it's the same for both platonic and romantic relationships, but it's still a red flag. You don't need constant reassurance. You need to know who you are. And if you feel like you need constant reassurance, there's a good chance that you lack a static identity. You lack a static sense of self. You lack, maybe if it's not a lacking of a static sense of self, it's more so a confusion of who you are. Now, where does that confusion come from? Well, it could very well come from growing up codependent. Maybe you were raised in a system of enmeshment. Maybe you lack healthy boundaries, you lack individuation, you lack differentiation, and you get very confused as to what is and what isn't your responsibility in other people's lives and even in your own life, right? People that are raised in systems of enmeshment where they learn to be codependent, they tend to lack a secure identity, right? Why? Well, when you're raised in a system of enmeshment where there are diffused boundaries, your shit is their shit and their shit is your shit. Yeah, that's going to be confusing. So you're going to end up finding people that match that, which further cuts at the wound of confusion, of misunderstanding in regards to who you are, where you begin, where you end, where other people begin and where they end, what it is that you're responsible for in other people's lives and what it is that you're not responsible for in other people's lives. It's not for no reason that you feel that you need constant reassurance. Doesn't mean that you actually do. And there's absolutely a fucking wound there that needs to be washed out and properly dressed. Because that's the reality of it. Constant reassurance is not a healthy thing. It's not normal either. And it is very much themed in insecurity and lack of understanding of who the fuck you are, who you are for yourself, who you are for other people, responsibilities, all that kind of stuff. That's just the reality of it. I'll probably make another video on needing constant reassurance because it's such an interesting theme, but somebody did comment about it and I just decided to make a video on it. So, understanding that a need for constant reassurance is very much rooted deeply in insecurity can really help you understand what's actually going on here. And looking at dynamics like enmeshment and codependency can also point in a much more needed direction.